Welcome back. One of the things which we are seeing right now is the fact that when I directly enter the URL, I'm able to still check the details even though I'm not really logged in. And that's not really good. That's not secure, right? Let's make the application secure by actually trying to authenticate before we allow user to go to specific URLs. A quick word of caution: if you are hearing a few crackers in the background, it's because it's Diwali time in India right now. If there are few cracker sound in the background that you are hearing, that's because it's Diwali in India. Wish me happy Diwali as well. Okay, let's get to the task at hand. So this is where we have defined the routes in the app routing module.ts. What we want to do is, before executing the route, we would want to check something out. We would want to check if the user is really logged in before he can go to the welcome page, whether he's actually logged in before he goes to the to-dos page, whether he's logged in before he goes to the logout page as well. So how do we do that? What you are looking at right now is app routing module. This is where we defined our routes, and over here we can specify conditions when these can be activated. So I can say activate this only in specific condition, activate this only in specific condition. What we'll do is we will activate welcome component and list to dos component and logout components only when a user is logged in. But to be able to do that, we need to implement a service and tie it up down here. The service is called a route guard service, whichever way you would want to call it. So what we'll do is we'll start creating this service. So I would want to create a service. The service I would want to create again in this service folder itself, and I'll call this service/route guard. Be very careful. You don't need to specify the service at the end. So it's ng generate service/route guard and press enter. Let's open up the route guard service.ts, and before we can implement logic in the route guard service, one important thing is this needs to implement a specific interface before I can use it in the router. The interface is called can activate. The important thing to note is there are multiple imports that match this can activate. Be careful and choose the one which is from the Angular router package. So you can see it in here, auto import from Angular/router. So the one which we need to import is from the router package. So you can see now over here can activate from Angular/router. Now you can see that it says an error. It says it incorrectly implements the interface can activate. It says property can activate is missing. What does that mean? This means that we have not really implemented the method which is defined in the can activate. So what I'll do is I'll make it easy. So I'll go here and copy the method thing in. So if you do a control click, you can go to that. I'll copy the method definition in. What it's saying is it should either return an observable or a promise or a boolean. Let's not really worry about it for now. Let's remove all that stuff and let's put these in. Let's start with the activated route snapshot, control space and import it in. Next, go to state and import it as well. So you can see that all these are from the same package. So if you don't get the suggestion, then make sure that you add this import. They are all from Angular/router. The error is because we are not returning anything back. Let's return true just to make the whole thing happy. Now, what do we want to do in here? What we want to do is we would want to return true only if the user is logged in. There are certain links we only want to enable when a user is logged in, and in those kind of situations only we would want to return true back. So how can we implement that? Think about it. We would want to return true only when the user is logged in. How can I find out if the user is logged in? Yep, hard-coded authentication service. Again, hard-coded authentication service. This private h, and let's control space import it in. If hard-coded authentication service dot is user logged in, return true, else return false. What would happen now? Only if a user has logged in, then it would return true. Otherwise, it would return false. Now what I can do is use this in, let's quickly format this, right click, format document, so that the code is formatted. What we'll do in the next step is we'll make use of this route guard service. In this step, what we did is we implemented a quick route guard service. In the router, for each of the links, before we go to that specific thing, we want to check if user is actually logged in before we can see the to-dos, we can see the welcome page. And that's what the route guard service enables us to do. We just needed to implement a can activate interface, and it defines a specific method based on the route and the route snapshot. We don't really need to use any of that information. All that we need to do is use the authentication service, check if user is logged in, and if user is logged in, return true, otherwise return false. Let's make use of this service in the next step. Until then, bye bye.